75% of all new businesses and entrepreneurs fail because of the fact that they do not have a correct estimate of how much their venture will cost and no backup plan if the whimsical banks do not consent to fund them. Sad but true. Another alarming statistic that come out large is that 60% of all entrepreneurs who fail to get funded in the first try give up on their brainchild or idea and move on to mundane 9 to 5 jobs. The displayed pie chart will stress the importance of money as we plot the reason behind failure against 4 top mistakes new business owners make. As you can see, lack of basic idea 2%, lack of proper marketing 8%, lack of market research 15%, and the most crucial, lack of funds 75%. Hard to believe that most of the new businesses have feasible ideas, but they fall victim to lack of funds and just die a slow death. In this module, how much to invest, we will try to teach you the importance of making an accurate estimate of how much your fashion business can cost you to set up and run, and the possible ways, alternate ways in which you can go ahead getting funded. It is a very old saying that money makes the world go round, and Mr. Anuj Agrawal, an aspiring boutique owner, found out about it the hard way. For increasing the impact of the content of these modules, we have interrogated a number of small successful and unsuccessful business owners of the fashion industry to share their experiences firsthand. And this is what Mr. Manoj had to say. I wanted to open a small boutique in our campus in Kolkata. My wife is quite skilled at handiwork, and so I bought her a professional sewing machine, hired a few attendants and helpers, and I thought I would be on my way. But after all, how much could such a tiny venture cost? But let me tell you, I was very wrong. Upfront, I found out that people had objections about the fact that I wanted to carry out business activities in a residential complex. I had to hire a small showroom and the deposit was a staggering 50,000 rupees in Kolkata. Next up, we learned that marketing was needed. During the holiday season, the workers had to be paid a bonus. It was fast getting out of control and I had to close up shop after struggling for a year. I lost 2 lakh bucks in that 1 year, and now I regret the fact that I jumped in unprepared. There is a very real need of knowing the business as well as the skill set required. You can be very talented, but if you do not organize your finances, it is hard to stay afloat. Please take note of that last line. If you do not organize your finances, it is very hard to stay afloat. Let us start by taking a look at how much you can expect to invest in a business in the fashion industry. A tricky question as it involves taking into account the standard of living of the state where you reside. Displayed here is the list of the major cities in India in decreasing order of the expenses you can expect to incur while running a business of any size. Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Bhubaneswar, Lucknow and Raipur. The estimate for these cities also applies more or less to the state in which these cities are present. We have tried to represent all the major players in the fashion industry of India. These statistics are developed on the basis of extensive research by our team and surveys which have been carried out over the last few months in order to ensure that the data is relevant and up to date. First, we take the city from the middle of the list, which here is Hyderabad. Then we take a look at the investment cost and running cost of an established business in the city. Here we will examine the information volunteered by Ms. Suman Negi, who runs a retail garment business for women in Hyderabad. Her identity has been altered to protect her privacy. Ms. Suman has helped us put together the displayed table. All expenditures are in rupees. Rent approximately 30,000 per month. Stock one-time investment yearly salaries around 25,000 per month, license one-time investment of 50,000, bills around 12,500 per month, approximately miscellaneous, marketing around 20,000 per month. So in the first year, rent goes to 30,000 multiplied by 12 months, that is 3,60,000. Stock around 2 lakhs. Salaries at the rate of 25,000 per month, around 3 lakhs per year. License, that was one-time investment, 50,000. Bills around 12,500 per month, that goes to around 1.5 lakh in the first year. And marketing at the rate of 20,000 per month, approximately, that comes to 2,40,000 rupees in the first year. This table is very revealing and we can see the important trends right away. The rent didn't increase over the period of 3 years, and Miss Suman has been exceptionally lucky as she managed to rent the place from a relative. Be sure that if your business is a success, the rent is bound to increase repeatedly over the years. Obviously, the amount invested in stock and inventory, including the goods kept in the warehouse for storage, increases with the success of the venture. If you can rent a big enough place, you may use the basement as a warehouse, but if not, it is an added cost that you should take into consideration. Finally, if you look at the marketing column, you can see that if efficient and targeted in the first year, the marketing cost actually reduces as your loyal customer base grows, and word of mouth becomes the medium of choice for roping in more clients. However, that is something for one of the later modules. Coming back to the case study at hand, the first year expenses of Miss Suman of Hyderabad comes to a modest 12,60,000 rupees. This is of course for a small business, but it can give you a good idea of the things to come. Now for every city above Hyderabad in the list, we want you to multiply by 1.2, 1.4, 1.6 and so on, till you reach Delhi, which you multiply by 1.8. I repeat, now for every city above Hyderabad in the list, we want you to multiply by 1.2, 1.4, 1.6 and so on, till you reach Delhi, which you multiply by 1.8. So had Miss Suman started a venture in our capital city, she could have invested anywhere between 22 to 24 lakhs for the same business. This is obviously a rough estimate, but a method that works well and can help you in calculating the initial startup capital required for you to start your business. Similarly, for the cities below Hyderabad, multiply the amount by 0.8, 0.6, 0.4 and 0.2. 0.8, 0.6, 0.4 and 0.2. So if Miss Suman's business was shifted to Raipur, she could have done with an investment of 3 to 4 lakhs. We strongly recommend following this checklist before deciding on a loan amount to apply for. This checklist has all the important sections that you may need to invest in before setting up a fashion business. We are assuming that if you are looking forward to manufacture the products, it will be a small exclusive operation, and if bulk products are required, they will be bought from a wholesaler. 1. Research the market to determine your target audience. If you are selling crystal studded designer sarees, the neighborhood has to be relatively upmarket, or else you will be sitting in an empty showroom longing for customers to walk in. 2. Based on the market research, you need to get an estimate of the rent of the showrooms in the locality you have shortlisted. If you are looking to specialize, the third part, if you are looking to specialize in a particular skill or craft, obviously the number of skilled workers you will need is a very important consideration. Jump into your car and drive to the nearest place you can find with the same specialization on display. You may get a chance to talk to the manager or know the salaries from the horse's mouth, the worker themselves. Be alert and do not forget to take note of whether they bring their families along and if they expect to be paid for their upkeep too. These days, there are workers, unions, and you can't bend the rule if that is what everybody is sticking to. 4. That done, concentrate on the initial stock of raw material or goods you will need. This you can tailor to your requirement and budget. You can always order more if you are successful. 5. Licenses are a spot of bother. You may have to procure 5 to 6 different ones. The most common being the trade license, no objection certificate from fire authority, permission to use glow signs, billboards, etc. Registration under Standard Weights and Measures Act. Have a session with your legal counselor. He may be able to guide you as to how much you may have to invest in order to get the licenses. This, however, for a period of time are one-shot investment. 6. You need to set aside money for the electricity and water bills for the first 6 months, after which you may expect to turn up profits. Have a chat with similar business owners. You can get a good idea from their monthly bills. 7. You need to take into account a minimum amount for the fixtures and furniture you may need to make the store usable. This is generally bare minimum for young entrepreneurs. Do not invest in renovations till you are established or funded by a large source and for a longer period of time. You may get into trouble upsetting your budget otherwise. Next comes marketing. Everything from banners to brochures to a great business plan, it is all marketing. Here too, knowing your target clientele is key. You need to know where and when you can get the people who will be interested in your products in one place. Advertise there and advertise well. If you are into making baby jumper suits, surprisingly, the nearest park or garden area can be a cheap and unconventional option. Set up a tiny stall or display stand and you might impress a number of new mothers who love to roam with their babies. It is not always about the money you spend. With the right mindset and by keeping yourself informed, you can be your best marketing strategy developer. But for a business plan, we suggest you to start right away. After all, a great business plan is the first step in the direction of getting funded. So yes, money has to be set aside for marketing. Lastly, we all worry about a rainy day. Put aside at least 1/3 of the total money needed for a number of unforeseen events and natural calamities. You do not want to close your business if some month you can't make a single sale. Sounds far-fetched and miserable, but the rule of thumb in a business is expect the best and prepare for the worst. Expect the best and prepare for the worst. This list, we believe, is quite comprehensive and can help you decide on a loan amount to apply for. Whether or not you will be successful is a different story altogether, and we deal with it in one of the future modules. The displayed graph can help you remember the chunk from your startup money you can expect each requirement to take up. Rent 20%, stock 20%, labor 7%, bills 13%, marketing 8%, and rainy day 32%. This is an ideal breakup of the money you plan to borrow, taking into account problems, success, ambition, and leaving space for you to experiment with marketing and branding. In my next video, we shall talk about the various sources from which you can arrange the money for starting your business. Till that time, let's work together and achieve peace of mind, financial freedom, and career for life. Thank you.